am excited for UK audiences to see it. I think there's so much in this film, and it's such a visual treat. And there are just so many, themes, and as well as all the stuff that's great for young people as well. So there's something for everybody, I think. So yeah, very excited. Well, Connell is, one of the heads of the Dark Fae. So Maleficent now sort of has a kind of tribe, and we get to learn a bit more about her backstory, and and the fact that she's not on her own, and so it's this real sense of a separate and its own sort of individual community, and that relationship then with the humans and all of the tensions that brings. Well, I loved the first one, and I came to it quite late, but then I saw it and I just thought it was wonderful, just to the way that it reinvented this kind of way of telling stories and these fairy tales and these characters and character tropes, and just bringing something completely new and different to the table. And I thought it was great for young people to have those kind of different ways of telling these stories, and so I was excited to join in and expand that universe, I think. Well, certainly, yes. In Maleficent's case, I think you can be, she's such a nuanced character, and I think that was, the fairy tales that I grew up with had all of these kind of very binary characters, good and evil, and of course there's those tropes like the Wicked Witch trope, and I think Maleficent brings in all of this nuance and grey area, and I think that's really wonderful.
So my character is called Percival, which is a knight, and I guess he fits into the story by being a person who feels like he knows exactly what he knows and knows what he needs to know and knows how that's going to cause him to survive, and he's got everything sorted. He needs to protect the kingdom, and I would say that his views are challenged, and that's quite nice to have them challenged from an actor playing that kind of role. Not so nice for him. The thing that attracted me to the role would be the fact that I do a television series and play on the other side. I play a fae in that. And so straight off the back of that, to then have the opportunity to play a human who is, I don't think I'm giving anything away. I think he's opposed to the idea of integration. And in the television series Carnival Row, which I do, it's kind of looking at how the Fae integrate with the humans. So it was just nice to, one, not have a 5-hour makeup call, and two, to kind of jump into the mindset of the other side, really. I think it's so important to show that light and dark can coexist, so that we don't limit ourselves and judge and then just decide that actually that's not for me without fully interrogating or experiencing life. So I think that's why it's really important to show that.
It's just a bonus, to be honest. The experience for me is all about the shoot. That's really the part that I live for. It's the part that I love. And then the second thing from that is like how I feel about the movie, and I watch the movie, I love it so much. Sometimes with these things, we do the red carpet and then we use this as an opportunity to kind of have dinner, and we go off to a restaurant. I am staying, I'm not leaving. This is my third time, I'm seeing it in 2 weeks. I really, really love this movie, and I mean that so much. So if it resonates with audiences as much as it does with me, then I'll just be so proud. That's just a real bonus, and just really beautiful. My character in the deliciously naughty and mischievous world of Maleficent, he fits in well into that bracket. Bora is another dark fae. It's one thing that we all do some point in our adult lives, is kind of go back and retrace our family history and find out more about our identity. And that's kind of what Maleficent does by finding me and Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, Connell, and my character, Bora. I love Bora as a character. It's someone that I genuinely, like, one of the first characters I'd love to go back to. So, yeah, we'll see.
It starts off where we left off, I suppose, on their relationship of, Maleficent and Aurora are mother and daughter, basically now. But years have passed, and Prince Philip and Aurora's relationship has grown, and finally, in the beginning, she gets engaged. There's a beautiful, very romantic engagement, and Maleficent is not too happy about that because he's human, and she doesn't love the humans so much. And then Michelle Pfeiffer's character, Queen Ingrid, comes in, and she is my mother-in-law, and I want her to like me very much, but it's a little difficult. She's a hard one to crack, I would say. Queen Ingrid uses her brains, and she runs this entire kind of militant regime, and but all of her evilness kind of comes out of fear, which is where all bad things come out of, being scared and fear. Well, they really are a family unit, I would say, when the second film kicks off, but as the film progresses, their differences kind of stand out, and the world tries to pull them apart because Maleficent is fae and Aurora is human, and in this world we try to pull, to separate people and create this divide. So we have to find our way back again in this film and realize that family is not blood. You get to create your own family, and you don't have to be blood related for that. There's definitely an environmental message. There's, this beautiful kind of strength and diversity. And then at the center, we have these three really strong female characters that use their power and their strength in very different ways, in very kind of stereotypical ways, which is a beautiful thing. We all need a little bit of magic. I'm sparkling tonight. I always wanted to be a witch when I was little. I loved Bewitched, Samantha and Bewitched. So I was like, I want special powers, but I think you can create magic in your own life, right? She starts off in, she's kind of very of the forest, and so her costumes represent that, kind of very more like than fairies and free. And then Queen Ingrid gets a hold of her, and she changes, and her hair goes up, and she's tight and uncomfortable, and she's very not herself, and she has to learn to embrace her true nature and herself, which is a big theme in the film as well, and she gets to kind of go back to her pretty pink dresses.
Is Queen Ingrid a worthy opponent? Yeah, I'd say so. She matches her with fierce tenacity and definite strength, yeah. I think it was important to show more of Maleficent's story because, not only is it interesting and so sort of multifaceted as a character, I think that to be able to expand on a fairy tale like Maleficent, it's always going to be interesting. It's inevitably a sort of twisted and flawed and beautiful and sort of intricate character. So it's always going to be interesting seeing that explored. Yeah, we filmed in London. I'm excited to be here. We did the LA premiere last week, and that was it was lovely, but it's nice to be here in my home turf, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's good. I hope audiences take away a few different things, really. First and foremost, I hope they enjoy it. I hope they get that feeling that I got, and that feel good sort of, it encapsulates that feeling of triumph and sort of victory, but also there's a few really strong themes in the film that are also quite important about unity and division and family and taking care of our planet as well. What is it about Aurora that Prince Philip loves so much? So many things. I think she's brave. She's strong. She's got her own voice. She's trying to find her own voice, and she's just sort of someone that he wants to unite with and be sort of and ensue change with, We need magic because real life's boring, isn't it?
Well, my character in this movie is called Gerda, and she is the devoted servant to Queen Ingrid, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. And she has some sinister skills, and it was a lot of fun to play. What attracted me to the film was the writing, and Joachim, the director, is an amazing filmmaker, and the exceptional cast. Michelle, Angelina, Chiwetel, it was amazing. They should see it because it captures your imagination and it's escapism and it's female empowerment, and I think it would be great. Oh, it was so wonderful. Pinewood Studios is the place where dreams come true, you know, so it was really like pinch yourself every morning coming in to film. It was amazing. Because storytelling is never going to get old. It encourages people, it gives them inspiration. I mean, it's so important.
I am very excited for the UK audiences to finally get to see Maleficent 2, and I haven't seen it yet, so it's my first time, yeah. I'm not going to give away anything. You have to go see the movie. But the gang are back in action. Yeah, I'm not going to give away anything. I think, well, I remember when I saw the first movie, thinking it was just very much about true love, but in a sense of a mother-daughter love or a sister-sister love, or it was very, very female empowering. And I think that's a really important part of this fairy tale that I think is one that we can all learn from and take on into every single fairy tale. That true love is about loving a lot of people around you. Again, I think hopefully the female connection is really important. I think growing up, having to kind of fly the coop maybe. And friendship, I think, is another thing that comes out in Maleficent that's a really important thing. I mean, we all need magic in our lives. Who doesn't need magic? Everyone. Can you imagine if we had a little bit of magic that we could do? I'd like to be able to cast wishes, for sure. Well, I would want to, if I had a magical power, my magic power would be I could grant people's wishes to come true.
Oh, yes. I mean, listen, everyone's waiting for Maleficent 2. I mean, why wouldn't you be? The number one was so good, and, you know, some of the same characters are back and some new ones, and it's a whole different story and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, it's very exciting to be bringing it here. I think it's darker. I mean, listen, I have to say I haven't seen the film yet. I think it's... imagine that it's a pudding, but there's been a little bit of spice added. And a little bit of kick and a little bit of naughtiness stirred in. I think Maleficent has got something, a lot for kids, a bit more for teenagers, and lots for adults. I think a villain could be a hero because not only good people are virtuous, speaking from personal experience. I think audiences will take away a real good time, a sense of adventure, spectacle, amazing special effects, great acting. I mean, great cast list in the film, especially the Pixies. They're particularly good. Listen, you're not going to, however much your cinema ticket costs, I think it's going to be worth it.
I am thrilled. The film's getting amazing reviews in America, and I am excited for UK audiences to see it. Of course, I'm thrilled. It's really exciting. I can't believe it was 6 years or 5 years since the last time. Well, I think, you know, everyone's fascinated by her, and you know, and Angie embodies Maleficent in a way only she could, you know, and I think people can't get enough of it. Well, the costume brings it to life, really, and putting the wig on and the fake nose. A lot of people don't realize it's fake, which is quite insulting, but people are always trying to touch it on set. And I've forgotten the question now.
Tell us about your approach to your character.
Fairly laid back, yes. When I put the costume on, it just happens. There's so much to choose from. I think... I don't know, he's just such a loyal character as Dieval, and he's kind-hearted, and he speaks, you know, the truth to Maleficent, which doesn't always go down well, but he's grown in courage in the last 6 years. Entertainment, there's some nice messages there about tolerance, the environment, but I think it's just pretty spectacular. Because otherwise it's a bit dull, isn't it? We all love a bit of magic.
Well, I play the character of Lickspittle, and he's an intriguing character, and I wouldn't want to give too much away about him, but he has been held against his will by the Queen in order to solve a problem for her. He's also a character that finds out something about himself that he didn't even know. So yeah, it's a really cool little character, and obviously, as is per normal in films, it looks nothing like me. I'm far too good looking for the big screen, you see. So that's why they end up covering me in prosthetic makeup every time. Oh, I love the first movie. I mean, it's fantasy in its purest form, and I grew up with the movies of the 80s, and in some of them, be it Labyrinth, Willow, and Legend, and those sorts of films. And I think Maleficent really brings those classics bang up to date, and delivers this sort of visual feast as well, which is fantastic, as well as the great storytelling and characters. Well, I mean, the light and dark coexisting in the world of Maleficent really reflects our own world as well, because that's kind of what's happening all the time, all around us. And I think, you know, sometimes it's the place of movies to reflect what's the world around us as well in a different way. But I think we all kind of love that kind of battle of good versus evil. I mean, it's the backbone of pretty much every movie, isn't it? And you know, either you're rooting for the goodie or you're booing the baddie, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?